Greetings, everyone. January the 23rd, and I'm coming at you today with basically breaking news or a critical update and really asking a question. Why is nobody paying attention to North Korea? Since the transition of power in the United States, the new rhetoric from the European Union, we're hearing new words out of Ukraine and Russia in regard to how the war will go. Why is everybody silent about North Korea while at the same time Kim Jong Un is doubling down in supplying Russia with supplies and soon to be more manpower? This we are seeing everywhere on multiple media sources, both here throughout this region, Ukraine, Russia, also in South Korea, North Korean information that we receive from my friends in South Korea. So, guys, this is where we're at, but nobody's talking about it. In addition, I also have some confirming video that is showing some new technical capabilities that Russia has received and is currently in the Kursk region. So, guys, let's jump right in. Thank you for being here. The bottom line for this video update today is nobody's paying attention to North Korea. North Korea doubles down. You could see the thumbnail, and maybe that's why you're here. It's just a fact. Where has the conversation went about the North Korean troops and artillery and missiles that are being fired at Ukraine every day? This morning, there was a mass attack on the city of Zaporizhia. We have 1 confirmed killed and up to 30 wounded. What struck it? That missile right there that you're seeing, the KN-23, a Korean missile. Here's the facts. North Korea is transferring 150 more KN-23s, and this is according to the GUR, the State Intelligence Services for Ukraine, Badanov. In 2024, Russia received 148, and now they are scheduled to receive and are receiving 150. And in the last 90 days, guys, which includes the first 23 days of January, 120 units of 170 millimeter self-propelled artillery mounts, the M1989, has arrived. Additionally, 120 240 millimeter multiple launch rocket systems, MLRS, the M1991s. North Korea continues to supply Russia, and the world is silent about it. While we're trying to figure out what is going to be the Kellogg plan, what is Donald Trump going to do, what is America going to do, while at that time we're already seeing what Russia and North Korea and their partnership is going to do. And I remind you that it was just a couple of weeks ago that Russia went into another military pact with Iran. So we see what they are doing. Kim Jong-un is doubling down. Additionally, here is your breaking news, your critical news update. In 2023, there was a military parade. You can see the image there. That is in Pyongyang, North Korea. And you can see just typical box trucks designed for deliveries. Something that you would typically see driving around your city or your town, wherever you live, maybe delivering supplies to your grocery store or to your clothing store, a typical box truck that is converted into a multiple launch rocket system. This was the parade in 2023 where they're showing off these vehicles. But now, guys, I can tell you that Ukraine is confirming that these hidden rocket system vehicles are now, listen to this,
Немного эксклюзивного контента. Чудо техники под Курском.
I will now translate that for you. You heard it in Russian. So it was a Russian stating, hey, today I'm going to give you an exclusive content. You are seeing these MLRS trucks. They are now on the Kursk region. So guys, Russia outright receiving these things right now. That video came today. Kim Jong-un doubling down. Now, since we're talking about North Korea, let's continue the conversation with some facts only in regard to what we know. What do we know? The first clashes that occurred between North Korean troops and Ukrainian troops confirmed was on November the 5th, 2024. Confirmed battle between North Korean troops and Ukrainian troops. That is now over 2 months. North Koreans have been fighting for Russia against Ukraine and against the rest of the world. In mid-December, North Korean troops began to regularly be used in storming assaults. And I know you guys are seeing the videos out there where you'll see 20 or 30 North Korean troops trying to storm a position there in the Kursk region. Those are real videos. Those are facts. That is what they're doing. But Ukraine wants the world to know they have come out with an official report on the quality of these soldiers. Estimates currently here in the latter part of January. American sources, 1,000 killed or wounded. South Korean intelligence states at 3,000 killed or wounded. President Zelensky himself, just a couple of days ago, stating that 4,000 killed or wounded North Korean troops fighting against Ukraine. We also know, you've seen it in your news, but the news kind of went away. North Korean troops, 2 were captured. They were interrogated in Kyiv in a legitimate way. They were not tortured. South Korean translators were brought in, and they were asked what they knew. And to be quite honest, they knew very little. It's not much to gain there. There's no state secrets learning from these troops. They were there. They thought they were going for training. They thought they were going for practical assignments with Russia, and they ended up in a war in Ukraine. But what we are learning is about Tuvenians. You may say, Greg, well, okay, what on earth are you talking about with Tuvenians, North Korean troops being disguised as Tuvenians? One of the prisoners that was captured right here was found to have a real military ID issued to him without a photo, and it actually listed the name of a person who is a resident of Tuva. Now, you may not know where Tuva is, but this is where Tuva is. Tuva is a Russian republic where practically the people have that Mongolian look, the Korean look, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but with the appearance of their face, they can look very similar to North Koreans. So Tuvenians have been used in the war against Ukraine from the very beginning, but the North Korean troops that were captured, one was carrying a Tuvenian ID. Russia's using this strategy to disguise soldiers from North Korea. They're using it to say, no, these are actually Tuvenians, Russian Federation citizens. They're similar appearance to Koreans, but for sure, North Koreans are there fighting. The reality is Tuvenians have been fighting, but these are 100% North Korean troops, and more are on the way. But this is the strategy that Russia uses. And if you're talking about evil strategy, guys, I can tell you right now, of course, I can never share it, but breaking news just coming out right now. 6 Ukrainian soldiers surrendered. Video circulating everywhere. It is true. It is fact. It is not a made-up story. And unfortunately, Russian soldiers, instead of capturing them and taking them as prisoners of war, the Ukrainians surrendered, put their hands up, walked to position, and unfortunately, they were executed on the spot, showing the world, and I can't play the video. I'd be taken down, I'm sure, but showing the world, this is who you're negotiating with. You're negotiating with a terrorist. North Korean troops carrying those Tuvenian documents. Now, what has Ukraine learned about North Korean soldiers? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to really hear this. This is after 2 months of fighting against the North Koreans. And I know everybody wants to go on social media and go on Twitter and go on BLUESKY and just say, oh, it's just cannon fodder. They're just storming positions and getting killed, and Russia's using them as a meat grinder. That is true. But don't fall for the trap. These are good soldiers. They are highly trained, potentially special forces, and they, as being reported by Ukrainian commanders, this is the information coming when they're doing analysis about what type of troops these North Koreans are. Many of them are even much superior, far superior, to the same Russian troops that are fighting side by side them. How do they fight? Ukrainian soldiers, commanders are reporting the following. Number one, they're physically resilient. Their level of training indicates that they are potentially special forces. Number two, and you've probably seen photos on this, I think I even shared one, they are desperately afraid of drones. It is clear they have no understanding that this is a drone war. They're learning it quickly, but they're learning it quickly, and they are adapting. They quickly adapt. Another piece of information coming in from Ukrainian soldiers who are learning about these North Korean troops. They obey commanders. They perform basic military maneuvers at a good level. Of course, a lot of this information coming in from Ukrainian reconnaissance. Fourthly, they are autonomous. They have Russian equipment and weapons, but they fight in separate areas under the oversight of Russian commanders who then go to the North Korean commander, who is then communicating with the North Koreans. They're working side by side, but not in mix. Fifthly, they are ideological. They are relentless in their assignments, and that is validated and I'm sure the video of you have seen. If you haven't, maybe join my Discord and the mods can get me a message and I can pop one of these videos up for you guys to see. They relentlessly, when they storm, they do not turn around. They are ideological in their training. Of course, they're coming from North Korea. Now, how do they fight and how do they think? Ukraine learning this: captivity equals shame. They are obviously indoctrinated and seemingly programmed, which makes complete sense, living under that North Korean regime for their entire lives. The DPRK confirmed losses have been found, the dead, by Ukrainian military with documents instructing them that you are better off to die than to surrender. Many, many reports of North Korean soldiers ending or taking their own lives instead of being captured. It was a rare event for Ukraine to capture those two soldiers, but it brought so much information. But unfortunately, the world is not talking about it. It's going away while Kim Jong-un is doubling down. We are finding Ukraine talking repeated behavior that if a DPRK soldier is obviously going to be captured, they are systematically eliminating themselves. Most likely, North Korean soldiers are afraid of reprisals against their relatives who remain in their homeland. They've been sent on a nonstop, one-way mission with no return, and they are learning it quickly, and they are adapting. So guys, when you're talking about these North Korean troops, these are the latest facts and analysis from Ukraine. Unfortunately, the world's not talking about it much anymore. It's only about negotiations and peace and surrender and all of these different territorial exchanges, while Kim Jong-un doubling down and pushing more power to the table for Vladimir Putin. Now, what about the POWs? Zelensky offered to return them to North Korea. Maybe you haven't heard this. He offered to return them to North Korea in exchange for Ukrainian soldiers being returned from Russia. Kim Jong-un and Pyongyang has not responded. Additionally, there's also been requests from South Korea: return the POWs to us and we will take care of them because they're still Koreans. So we'll see. The bottom line is this is irrefutable proof North Korea is fighting for Russia. And when you put that in conjunction with not only fighting for, but now doubling down with the equipment, doubling down by sending more missiles, doubling down by there will be more troops coming. While the world is talking about peace, while the world is talking about negotiations, Ukraine is fighting a hellish war on the front. Tonight I'll be talking about that on my live. If you've made it this far in the video, be looking a few hours from now. There'll be a live going on, live from Ukraine. Going to share a lot of video, and we're going to talk about the front lines. But this is irrefutable proof. North Korea fighting for Russia against Ukraine. And I just do not think that this part of the story needs to disappear, especially while Kim Jong-un is doubling down. So the big question here is the United States going to talk about North Korea? Remember, Trump visited North Korea. Pyongyang. It's his buddy. And I mean, it may not be his real buddy, but just pull the video. They talked on friendly terms. It's Rocket Boy. And there's the most evil man on the planet right there in the middle of that picture, Vladimir Putin. Guys, you can't separate these nations. They are in a military pact fighting against the small sovereign nation of Ukraine, trying to stand for its future and stand for what is right in the world. I hope the world wakes up and understands. And I hope Donald Trump, the United States, the European Union, NATO, and other world leaders recognize North Korea now plays a huge role in this. I remind you, it was their rockets that killed this person and wounded over 30 in Zaporizhia just a few hours ago. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your help. Appreciate you hitting that subscribe button, liking, dropping a comment, sharing this on your social media. We're trying to tell you the truth about Ukraine so that we can stand together and do our parts as humanity to make a difference. Be blessed, and we'll see you later.